Far away at the edge of the galaxy, there was a small alien colony called Vora Prime. It was a quiet place where peaceful creatures lived. They loved their home, but trouble was coming. Strange shadows moved beyond their forests. Their skies grew darker each day. The people of Vora Prime did not know what was coming, but they felt fear. One night, the colony's leader, Era, stood on a tall hill. She looked up at the stars, hoping for help. The colony's communication systems were old and weak. They had no strong friends nearby. Their only choice was to send a signal, an SOS, into the vast galaxy. It was a call for help, a hope that someone strong would hear it and come fast. Era's voice was soft as she spoke to the council. "We must send the SOS. If no one answers, we will be lost. But if someone does, we must be ready." The council agreed. With heavy hearts, they sent out the signal. It was a simple message. "We are in danger. Please help us." Far beyond Vora Prime, the signal traveled through the cold darkness of space. It crossed stars and planets. Then it reached a blue and green world, Earth. On Earth, a huge ship was waiting near the edge of the solar system. The humans on board had heard many signals before, but this one was different. The SOS was weak and scared. It came from a small colony with no known enemies. The humans studied the message carefully. Captain Mara was the leader of the ship. She looked at the screen and said, "This signal is faint, but it feels urgent. We cannot ignore it." Her team prepared the ship to move. The engines started to hum. The humans were ready to travel for days through space to reach Vora Prime. They did not know what awaited them, but they never refused to call for help. Back on Vora Prime, the aliens watched the stars with hope. They saw a bright light moving closer, the Earth ship. The colony felt relief. Help was coming, but some among them felt unease. The young scout, Tali, whispered to Era, "This light, it feels strange, not like the usual travelers." Era nodded. "We must be careful. Help may not always come with open hands." The Earth ship landed near the colony. Its large metal legs touched the ground with a soft rumble. The humans inside were tall and strong. Their armor was thick and dark. Their faces were serious. The aliens gathered near the landing site. Era stepped forward. "Welcome," she said in their language. "Thank you for coming." Captain Mara stepped out. Her voice was calm but firm. "We received your SOS. We are here to help." For a moment, peace seemed possible, but then the ground shook beneath them. The animals of the forest ran away, scared. The sky darkened as thick clouds rolled in. Something was wrong. Tali pointed to the trees. "Look." Shadows moved between the trunks. The humans raised their weapons. Their scanners blinked with warnings. "Unidentified life forms approaching," a soldier said. Suddenly, strange creatures appeared. They were fast, with sharp claws and glowing eyes. The aliens gasped. They had never seen such beasts. The humans moved quickly. They did not hesitate. They fired weapons that made loud noises and bright flashes. The creatures hissed and ran back into the forest. Hera looked at Mara. "These are not the enemies we feared. What are these creatures?" Mara shook her head. "We do not know, but they are dangerous." The humans set up a perimeter around the colony. They searched for more signs of the creatures. The aliens watched, unsure if these humans were friends or something more. That night, Ira could not sleep. She walked outside her home and looked at the stars. She whispered, "We sent the SOS because we were scared, but maybe we sent a danger instead of help." In the dark forest, the creatures moved closer to the humans' camp. Their eyes glowed bright. They were not afraid. On the Earth ship, Captain Mara stood before her crew. "We have a new enemy," she said. "Not just the danger the colony told us about, but something worse. We must be ready." Her words made the soldiers tense. They had trained for many battles, but this was different. This was unknown. The next morning, the aliens found strange marks in the ground near the humans' camp. Large footprints, deeper than any they had seen. The humans called it Deathworlders trail. Ira felt cold. What have we brought? Here? Tali looked at the humans. Are they really here to help? Or do they bring war? Captain Mara sent a message back to Earth. We found something dangerous here. We will protect the colony, but this may be the start of a war no one expected. Far above Vora Prime, silent watchers in the stars waited. The galaxy would soon learn that the quiet SOS from a small colony was the start of something much bigger. The Earth ship stood tall and dark on Vora Prime's dusty ground. Its metal surface was cold and rough. The humans inside moved with purpose. Their armor was scratched and battle-worn. They were not visitors. They were warriors. Captain Mara looked at the alien leaders waiting nervously nearby. Her voice was steady and calm. We came to help, but first, we need to know what we are facing. The aliens nodded, hope still alive in their eyes. But some were afraid. The humans carried strange weapons that glowed and hummed quietly. They spoke little but watched everything closely. Tali, the young scout, stayed close to Ira. She whispered, "They don't look like peacekeepers. Their eyes, they are cold." Ira tried to stay calm. "We must trust them. Our colony sent the SOS. We need help." The humans started scanning the area with their devices. Lights flickered on their machines, showing images of the forest around the colony. Suddenly, alarms beeped loudly. A soldier called out, "Hostile creatures nearby, they are fast and deadly." Captain Mara nodded. "Stay alert. They are not just animals. We call them Deathworlders." The aliens gasped at the name. "Deathworlders?" Ira asked. Mara answered, "Creatures born on harsh worlds. They survive and kill anything in their path. We fight them where they come from." Suddenly, movement in the trees caught everyone's attention. Shadows slipped between the thick trunks. The humans raised their weapons. "Prepare for battle," Mara ordered. From the shadows, the Deathworlders appeared. They were terrifying, large with sharp teeth and glowing eyes that pierced the darkness. Their claws dug into the earth. The aliens watched in fear as humans opened fire. The weapons made loud bangs and bright flashes. The creatures screamed and charged. The battle was quick and brutal. Humans fought with skill and strength. They protected the aliens carefully. After the fight, Captain Mara turned to Ira. "These creatures are not your enemy, but they will kill if we don't stop them." Ira nodded slowly. "We are grateful for your help. But why are these creatures here now?" Mara looked serious. "Something changed in this world. These Deathworlders have grown bolder. We don't know why yet. The humans set up camps around the colony. They made barriers and traps. The aliens helped, working together despite their fear." That night, around the campfire, Ira spoke softly. "We sent a signal for help. We hoped for friends, but we brought warriors instead." Tali shivered. "I wonder if the real danger is not outside, but what we have brought inside." On the Earth ship, Mara met her officers. "We are in unknown territory," she said. "The SOS was a trap or a warning. We must find the truth." One soldier frowned. "Captain, the Deathworlders are not the only threat here. Sensors detected something moving underground." Mara's eyes narrowed. "Then we prepare for what's beneath." The next day, humans and aliens explored the forest. Strange tracks led deep into dark caves. The air was cold and heavy. Suddenly, a distant roar echoed. Both humans and aliens froze. It was a sound like no other, deep, powerful, full of anger. Captain Mara raised her weapon. "Get ready. The fight is only beginning." Back in the colony, Ira whispered to Tali, "We should never have sent that SOS." Tali looked at the sky where the Earth ship waited silently. "But now we cannot turn back." Far away in the empty stars, a dark force watched. It smiled. The arrival of the Deathworlders was only the first step. The galaxy was about to face a storm it never saw coming. The sun barely rose over Vora Prime when the colony's forest whispered a warning. The air was thick, and the usual sounds of birds and animals were missing. Tali, the young scout, moved carefully among the trees. Her eyes searched every shadow. "This place feels wrong," she told Era. "Something is watching us." Era frowned. "We must trust the humans. They have weapons and knowledge. They will protect us." But Tali was not sure. The humans had fought well against the Deathworlders, but there was something else, something the aliens could not see. Captain Mara stood with her soldiers near the edge of the forest. Her scanner blinked rapidly, showing strange readings. "We are not alone," she said quietly. "There's a hidden enemy here." The soldiers looked at her, tense and alert. They knew this was worse than the creatures they had fought. Suddenly, Tali heard a soft rustle behind her. She turned quickly but saw nothing. Her heart raced. The humans raised their weapons, eyes sharp. "Invisible enemies," Mara said. "They hide in the dark, waiting to strike." One soldier, Rin, knelt down and touched the ground. "These footprints, but no sign of a body. Ghosts," a soldier whispered. The aliens grew frightened. They had never fought something they could not see. Then, from the shadows, a strange figure appeared. It moved fast, almost like a blur. It struck at one of the humans, a quick slash. The soldier stumbled, shocked but alive. "Enemy contact," Mara shouted. The humans fired their weapons at the moving shadow, but the creature vanished before the bullets could hit. Era gasped. "What is that?" Mara shook her head. "I don't know. But it is smart and deadly." Tali stepped closer. "To the humans. We must learn about these creatures before they kill us all." Over the next hours, the hidden enemies attacked again and again. They moved silently, using the trees and shadows to hide. The humans fought back fiercely, but the creatures were clever. One night, Rin whispered to Mara, "Captain, these enemies know our tactics. They learn fast." Mara's face was grim. "Then we must be faster." The humans set traps and sensors in the forest. They worked with the aliens to find patterns in the attacks. Era watched them and thought, "Humans see things we cannot. Their eyes are sharper." Suddenly a loud roar broke the night. The hidden enemies had called for help. From the darkness more creatures came, bigger and stronger. The humans and aliens stood together, ready for a terrible battle. Mara shouted, "Hold the line, protect the colony." The fight was brutal. The hidden enemies attacked with speed and power, but the humans used their training and technology. They fought with heart and skill. In the chaos, Tali saw one creature move toward Era. Without thinking, she threw herself in front of the leader. The creature hissed, but stopped. Mara saw this and said, "That was brave." After the battle, the humans counted their losses. They had won, but at a cost. Mara looked at Era. "This hidden enemy is just the beginning. Something bigger is coming." Era nodded, fear growing in her heart. "We asked for help. But what have we truly invited?" Deep in the forest, the hidden enemies watched. Their glowing eyes burned with hate. They whispered, "The humans have arrived. The hunt begins." The colony of Vora Prime had never seen such fear before. The peaceful forests, once full of gentle sounds and soft breezes, now echoed with the growls and howls of monsters. The hidden enemies had brought death and destruction, but that was only the beginning. Captain Mara stood on the bridge of the Earth ship, her eyes scanning the horizon. Her crew was tense. Weapons were loaded, shields up, and every soldier was ready. The small colony was no longer just a place to protect. It had become a battlefield. "We've fought shadows and ghosts," Mara said quietly to her second-in-command, Lieutenant Rin. "But now something bigger is coming, the Deathworlders themselves." Rin nodded. "The big creatures. The ones who can crush cities." Outside the ship's windows, the sky darkened. Far above, large shapes moved closer. The Deathworlders were arriving. Back on the ground, Era and her people watched the sky with wide eyes. "They are coming," she said, her voice shaking. "The creatures that the humans fear most." The ground trembled as massive footsteps grew louder. From the forest's edge, giant forms stepped forward. Deathworlders. Their skin was thick and rough like stone. eyes glowing red, claws sharp enough to tear metal. They were the true rulers of death on this world. The humans spread out in battle formation, weapons raised. The aliens stood behind, watching in horror, but ready to fight. Captain Mara's voice rang out, "Hold your ground, protect the colony at all costs." The Deathworlders charged with terrifying speed. The earth shook beneath their feet, trees splintered, and the air filled with roars. The first clash was brutal. Human weapons fired bright beams that cut into the monsters' thick skin but barely slowed them down. The Deathworlders roared and struck back, smashing through defenses. Era ran alongside her people, shouting, "Stay strong! Do not let them break through!" Tali fought fiercely too, dodging claws and striking where she could. Her heart pounded. This was a battle unlike any other. Suddenly, a huge Deathworlder grabbed a soldier and threw him like a rag doll. The soldier cried out but was lost in the dark trees. Mara saw this and ordered, "Fall back, regroup at the camp." The humans and aliens retreated, their shields barely holding. They needed a new plan, fast. Inside the Earthship's war room, Mara and her officers gathered. Maps and screens showed the Deathworlders advancing. "We cannot fight like this," Mara said. "Their strength is too great. We must use our minds, not just weapons." Lieutenant Rin pointed to a strange energy field on the map. "There is a cave nearby with unusual power. It might be a weakness for the Deathworlders." Era joined the meeting, her face serious. "That cave is sacred to my people. But if it can help us, I will guide you." The plan was risky but clear. Lure the Deathworlders to the cave and use its power to stop them. The next day, under Ira's lead, the humans and aliens moved carefully toward the cave. The forest was silent, almost as if it was holding its breath. Tali stayed close to Ira, her eyes watching every shadow. Suddenly, the ground shook again. The Deathworlders had noticed the plan. Their roars filled the air as they charged faster than before. The battle was on again, more fierce and desperate. When they reached the cave, Mara ordered everyone inside. The cave walls glowed with strange light, ancient symbols shining bright. Era stepped forward and touched the stone. "This power has protected us for centuries. It can stop the Deathworlders, if we believe." The Deathworlders crashed into the cave's entrance. The ground trembled as the fight continued outside. Inside, a strange energy began to flow through the cave, surrounding the humans and aliens. Suddenly, the Deathworlders howled in pain. The power from the cave burned them, weakening their strength. "Captain," Mara smiled, "it's working." But the victory was not without cost. The cave's power was draining the energy of everyone inside. The longer they stayed, the weaker they grew. Era looked at the tired faces around her. "We must find a way to end this quickly." Outside, the Deathworlders retreated, growling but beaten, for now. The humans and aliens knew this was only the first battle in a long war. As the sun set, Era and Mara stood together looking at the stars. "We sent the SOS for help," Era said quietly. "But the real fight has only begun." Mara nodded. "And the galaxy will never be the same." The battle at the cave left the colony shaken but alive. The Deathworlders had retreated, but Captain Mara knew this was only a temporary victory. Something deeper was hidden beneath Vora Prime, and it was about to reveal itself. Inside the Earthship's command room, Mara studied the scans. "There's something strange beneath the surface," she said to her officers. "A power source, or a weapon." Lieutenant Rin pointed to the readings. "It's massive, and it's active. It's why the Deathworlders are so aggressive. They're protecting it." Era listened carefully. "My people have legends of an ancient force buried deep under this world. It is said to be both a blessing and a curse." Mara nodded. "We need to find it. And fast. Before the Deathworlders come back with more strength." That night, the humans and aliens gathered in the camp. Fires flickered and shadows danced. On tired faces, Tali whispered to Era, "What if this force is too dangerous? What if it destroys everything?" Era looked at her young friend and smiled sadly. "Sometimes the greatest dangers bring the greatest hope." The next day, A team led by Mara and Era descended into a deep cave system under the forest. There, lights cut through the darkness, revealing walls covered in strange symbols and glowing crystals. As they moved deeper, a low hum filled the air. The ground vibrated softly beneath their feet. Suddenly, the cave opened into a huge chamber. In the center stood a massive crystal, pulsing with energy. "This must be it," Mara said, awestruck. "The source of the power." Era stepped closer. "This crystal holds the balance of life on Vora Prime. It keeps the Deathworlders alive, but also controls their rage." Mara frowned. "So if we destroy it, the creatures might die, but so might the colony." Era nodded. "And if we leave it alone, the Deathworlders will never stop attacking." The team faced a terrible choice. Before they could decide, the ground trembled. From the shadows, more Deathworlders appeared, larger and fiercer than before. The battle erupted again, echoing through the cave. The crystal glowed brighter with every roar and clash. In the chaos, Tali noticed something. When the Deathworlders touched the crystal, they seemed to calm for a moment. She shouted to Mara, "The crystal controls them. Maybe we can use it to stop the war." Mara saw the hope in Tali's eyes and called for a retreat. "Back to the surface. We need a new plan." Back in camp, the humans and aliens debated. Some wanted to destroy the crystal and end the threat forever. Others, like Era, believed they could control its power. Mara looked at the tired faces. "We can't win this war with weapons alone. We need to understand the Deathworlders and the crystal." That night, Mara stood alone, staring at the stars. The galaxy was full of mysteries, and this world held the deadliest secret of all. The night was silent except for the soft hum from the crystal deep beneath Vora Prime. Captain Mara sat quietly in the camp, her mind racing with questions. How could a single crystal hold such power? Could they control it, or would it control them? Era approached, her face calm but serious. "This crystal is not just a power source," she said. "It is alive in its own way. It connects to everything. On this world, the plants, the animals, even the Deathworlders." Mara looked up. "If it connects to the Deathworlders, can we use it to stop the attacks?" Era nodded slowly. "Maybe, but it is dangerous. If we misuse it, the crystal could destroy us all." The humans and aliens decided to send a small team back to the crystal chamber. Their mission: study the crystal and find a way to control its power safely. Tali was chosen to join the team. She felt nervous but ready to help her people. As the team moved underground, the cave seemed alive. The glowing crystals on the walls pulsed gently, lighting their path. The big crystal at the chamber's center shone brightly, casting long shadows. Lieutenant Rin stepped forward. "Let's place these devices around the crystal," he said, "to measure its energy and find a way to communicate with it." The team worked carefully, setting up sensors and scanners. Suddenly, the crystal's light grew stronger. The air vibrated with energy. Then Tali felt something strange, a voice, not spoken but felt deep inside her mind. "Why do you come?" the voice seemed to ask. She gasped and looked at her friends. "The crystal. It's trying to communicate." Era placed her hand on the crystal. "We must be careful with our thoughts and feelings. The crystal responds to our minds." Mara said firmly, "We want peace. We don't want more war." The crystal pulsed again, and images flashed in their minds, visions of the past. They saw the Deathworlders once as gentle protectors of the planet, guarding the crystal's power. But something had corrupted them, turning them into fierce warriors. The team understood that the Deathworlders' rage was tied to the crystal's imbalance. If they could restore balance, the Deathworlders might return to their old nature. Suddenly, alarms blared. The scanners detected movement outside. The Deathworlders were coming again. Mara shouted, "Prepare for battle. Protect the team and the crystal." Outside the chamber, the battle was fierce. The Deathworlders smashed at the cave entrance, but the humans and aliens fought bravely. holding the line. Inside, Tali concentrated on the crystal, sending calm and peace through her mind. The light dimmed and the angry roars grew quieter. Suddenly the cave shook violently. A huge Deathworlder burst into the chamber, eyes glowing red with rage. Mara and her soldiers rushed in to protect the team. The giant creature lunged, but the crystal's light flared bright and the Deathworlder froze, then slowly calmed. Era whispered, "It's working. The crystal is healing the Deathworlders." The giant bowed its head, and the other creatures outside stopped their attack. Mara breathed deeply. We found the key. But she knew the battle was far from over. The crystal's power was strong, but controlling it would take time, trust, and courage. As the team left the cave, the first rays of sunlight broke through the forest canopy. Era smiled softly. This world may still be dangerous, but hope is alive. Mara looked to the horizon, ready for whatever came next. We will fight for peace, no matter the cost. The sun rose slowly over Vora Prime, but the colony was far from peaceful. Though the crystal's power had calmed the Deathworlders, Captain Mara knew this was only the start. Something bigger was coming, something no one had expected. Inside, the Earthship's command room, Mara studied the latest reports. The Deathworlders are regrouping, she said to Lieutenant Rin. They're calling for reinforcements from deeper in the galaxy. Rin's face was grim. We may be facing an entire army. Era stood beside them, her eyes hard. This fight is not just for Vora Prime anymore. It's for the whole galaxy. Outside, the humans and aliens worked quickly. They built new defenses, trained harder, and prepared for war. Tali, now stronger and more confident, helped teach others how to connect with the crystal's power. Suddenly, the sky darkened as massive ships appeared on the horizon. The Deathworlder fleet had arrived, thousands of war machines bristling with weapons ready to destroy. Mara's voice echoed through the colony's loudspeakers. This is it. Hold your ground. Protect the crystal. Protect our home. The first wave hit hard. Explosions rocked the ground. Buildings crumbled. But the humans and aliens fought back fiercely, using every weapon and trick they had. Tali focused on the crystal, sending waves of calming energy. Slowly, the Deathworlders' rage faded, and some began to hesitate, confused by their own feelings. Mara led a strike team deep into the battlefield. Their goal was to reach the Deathworlder warlord, controlling the fleet, a massive creature named Carrick. They fought through endless enemies, facing monsters and machines alike. The sky filled with fire and smoke. Finally, they reached Carrick's command ship. Mara and her team stormed inside, weapons ready. Carrick towered over them, eyes burning with fury. You think you can stop us? He growled. Mara stood tall. We are stronger than you think. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every life in this galaxy. The battle was fierce. Carrick was powerful, but Mara and her team used the crystal's energy to weaken him. Tali's calm waves confused him, slowing his attacks. With a final strike, Mara knocked Carrick down. The warlord roared, then fell silent. Outside, the Deathworlder fleet faltered. Without their leader, the war machines lost direction and began to retreat. The colony cheered as the sky cleared. For the first time, hope returned. But Mara knew the war was not over. The galaxy was watching, and many more dangers waited. She looked at Ira and Tali. This victory is ours today. Tomorrow we prepare for what comes next. Ira smiled. Together we are unstoppable. Tali nodded, feeling stronger than ever. We will protect this world, no matter what. As the sun set on Vora Prime, the true battle for the galaxy's future had only just begun. The battle with Carrick and the Deathworlder fleet had ended, but the war was far from over. Captain Mara and her team stood together, looking out over the scarred land of Vora Prime. The planet was quiet now, but the future was uncertain. Mara turned to Era. We saved the colony, but what about the galaxy? What if other enemies come? Era's eyes were steady. We have a chance to build peace and to show the galaxy that we can be strong without war. Tali, standing beside them, felt the weight of responsibility. The crystal's power is a gift. We must protect it and use it wisely. The humans and aliens began rebuilding. Together they repaired homes, cleared the forests, and helped the injured. The Deathworlders, now calm and free from rage, worked alongside them. One day a new signal reached the colony. It was a message from other worlds. Many had heard of Vora Prime's story and wanted to join the fight for peace. Mara smiled. We are not alone anymore. Together we can face any threat. The crystal's light shone brighter than ever, a symbol of hope and unity. As ships from distant stars arrived, the colony grew into a strong alliance, a new force in the galaxy. Mara stood on a hill watching the stars. They sent an SOS, and we answered, not with fear but with courage. Era nodded. This is only the beginning. Tali looked up, hope shining in her eyes. A new dawn is here, and humanity will lead the way. The galaxy was watching, and now it knew that when humans stand together with heart, mind, and strength, nothing can stop them.